G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Making Munch with Mike. I'm Mike and I'm making munch, and I've got a new camera angle. It's because today I'm making some flatbread to go with curry that Rachel's already made. It's already rice and curry here. I'm just doing the flatbread, got a flipper. Using a different pan to normal. Normal pan I use for the sausage is quite a small flatbread. I like a big flatbread. Although I think if I cut this into 6, it would go alright. The only problem then is that it would make all the flatbreads quite meaty, and Rachel does not like meat. So, anyway, flatbreading it up today. Same again, like, it's a good idea that Rachel's had. We're doing big lunch and then leftovers for dinner. Whereas what we'd normally do before is do big dinner and then leftovers for lunch. And I think that normally works in that just like you're out at lunchtime. You don't have time at lunchtime to make big luncheon, but being at home kind of, it just works better of you build a big lunch and then you've run out of energy by 4 or 5 o'clock. Sometimes run out of energy at 9 o'clock. 9 a.m. o'clock, that is. Good joke. Reminds me, I lined up to go see Auntie Donna live, which I'm like, made sense to try to do that, while I'm in Sydney, go see some shows, that kind of thing. But then this bout of COVID has struck. We're up to however many cases it is, 230 something. Oof, big numbers per day. This is a proper second wave. So hopefully we'll get it under control soon, but we'll see. So anyway, I'm planning on getting AstraZeneca vaccine. I just need to call the doctors and book in with them, hey. But it's just another job to do. Another job on already a big list of jobs. Oh dear. Anyway, I love making flatbread. It's a lot of fun. It's so easy. Very simple recipe. If I remember which way around it goes, 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of water, a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, mash it together, good to go. The only thing is just getting the pan hot enough. Never patient enough to actually get the pan to a suitable temperature that then it cooks well. But actually this time I've done better on the first one. Always the first one is like, it just dissolves in the oil. It still cooks fine, but it just looks a bit funky. Whereas, today I've probably preheated a bit better. I think kind of trying to juggle a lot of things. I put the preheat on probably a little bit early and then trying to do other things. Probably actually didn't put the preheat on early enough. That's probably the error. Anyway, flour everywhere. You don't have that much oil everywhere. Oh dear. Well, that's the first one done. Nice. Yeah. Ooh. Delightful. Hear that sizzle. Oh, it's good. I know this is, as a cooking show, not meant to talk about the cooking. It's good cooking. I like it on cooking shows when they sort of just, they have really long intro shots. They're just panning around looking at, oh look, we've gone to visit this orchard. How's that serenity? It's just a funny thing of like, just get down to the recipe. So now, yeah, nowadays the recipes are like, you gotta scroll for ages through some kind of weird story. Best recipe though is this one I found on YouTube a while ago. The best glazed donut recipe that you will ever eat. But it's fantastic because in the video, at the end, the kid who's made them is like, oh, they're so good. But he has this line of like, as soon as you taste it, you'll have made it. And I'm like, what? Once you've, like, is it just sort of this metaphysical argument of, food isn't really food until it is completed, makes its end by being eaten, which at that point also, there could be a scatological joke as well as an eschatological joke. That's quite funny. But yeah, I think like what he's saying, as soon as you've tasted it, you'll want to make it, but also it's not something you can just go out and taste, so you kind of just need to make it in order to taste it. But then once you taste it, then you'll just want to make it again. I think is kind of where it was meant to be going. Or maybe he was just trying to say things that sound like cooking show things, and so he just said that. I don't know. But whatever the reason, it's a delightful statement. As soon as you taste it, you'll just have made it. Wild. What a good game. Anyway. Bam. So, that's pretty good. But my only problem with that is it is deep frying in oil. I don't really mind the health costs of deep frying in oil. I just care. I don't fry enough bulk to warrant the oil. You know what I mean? Like fish and chip shop, they've got a huge vat of oil, but they'll do heaps and heaps and heaps of food through it. So fair enough. I feel like for me, if I'm cooking a couple of hash browns or something, it's not worth deep frying them. You don't deep fry hash browns. I don't know. Donuts. Well, donuts is what I was talking about, wasn't it? So then I'm like, oh, air fryer seems kind of good. But then an air fryer is just a weird oven. And you already have an oven. It just all seems so crazy. Anyway, maybe one day I'll get an air fryer. My thought lately has been get an air fryer and the tubes for cannoli. And we can make cannoli at home with the air fryer. But is that as good as deep frying the cannoli? My thought was just, if you put more butter into the pastry, then you've got the fat content in there. Would that work? Would that be enough? I don't know. It does seem to be sort of going against the whole purpose of the air fryer to reduce your fat, but if he wants to reduce fat, fat is flavour. That's what Kylie Kwong says. I think I maybe watched her cooking show one time ever. That quote isn't actually a quote from Kylie Kwong when I say, I'm quoting my sister saying, like the whole quote for me is, fat is flavour. That's what Kylie Kwong says. That's the quote. Quoting my sister, not quoting Kylie Kwong. Quoting my sister, quoting Kylie Kwong. I don't know how to do that in a essay, quote within a quote. In an essay, I'd just say, the person who I'm reading, they refer to this guy about how he says this thing. But then for the reference, I just put the page and the book. I don't say the reference within. But I'm not like directly quoting part of the quote. I don't think. Anyway. Things. I got an essay back the other day. Yesterday. Got a credit. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was not as good as a credit. So we'll see if I have the guts to go in and read the comments. Probably not. All the energy, all the time. Too many other things to do, you know? Too many other things to do. Like fry some flour and water. I don't really know what I'm going to call this episode because I'm not really stuck to a topic or a theme. But, yeah. I'll finish off this last one and start cleaning up. This has been Making Munch with Mike. I'll catch you tomorrow. See ya.